Derek, I remember you said before camp that you really thought the inside linebackers needed to step up. Specifically, what have you seen? Have they stepped up? Do you see some progress at that position?
Yeah, I see a lot of progress at the position. I think guys have grown up. I mean, you get a chance to see, Folletti, Dimitri, you see Austin Orgy, at times, Brayton Wall-Smith, he's been here for a long time. I mean, it seems like forever, but, he's still only in his redshirt sophomore year. So the reality with those guys is that, you just keep moving it forward. But it's been good to see, Salua, been working there earlier in camp. He's been out the last couple of practices, but then coming back with the idea of Caleb Burke. I think when we infused Caleb in that room, I think it changed the game a little bit in terms of maturity. Caleb, he's played snaps in this conference. He's mature. He's a fifth-year senior. He knows his defense. He can slide inside, outside, and just his presence, I think, changed the room, because I think guys are always looking, for leaders, and I think some of those young inside backers have dominant traits. Like when you watch them, like Dimitri's played football in the SEC, but you're always looking for the maturity piece, to kick in. But when Caleb went in there, it just changed the game, and so now it's anchored by him, and I think having him as an anchor, those guys are a little more solid. Okay, man, they've got an identity, they've got a culture in that room that Coach Tarver's building, and we're moving in the right direction.
So what is it they were missing last year that you think you bring? Consistency is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
But how were they lacking in that last year that you feel like it's coming around now?
It's maturity. The reality of it. Dimitri Moore was a redshirt sophomore. A year ago, and you look at where Brayton was. Brayton had played a little bit as a freshman, and probably got maybe like 115 snaps a year ago. Folletti didn't play much at all, just due to injury. But now, he's 243 pounds. Okay, man, he's playing lights out. He can move. He's physical. All those guys are just grown up. So physically, their bodies have changed, but I think mentally, the idea of Coach Tarver, stepping into that role as defense coordinator. When you have a defensive coordinator and an inside linebacker coach in your room, it changes the game in terms of, how much is put on you, what the expectation is, what he wants. And I think, again, adding Caleb to that room, somebody who had played for Coach Tarver, somebody who's played, a lot of snaps in this conference, it really solidified where he wanted to go. And so now what we got to do is just keep going full speed ahead.
Do you plan on moving Caleb inside, outside, rotating him at both spots, or do you want to find room for him just inside?
Best player's going to play. And, he's a fifth-year senior. When you have that experience in this conference, and that's what I see, more than anything else, when I see depth in the defensive front, I see experience at outside backer, and now, kicking Caleb off the ball, to put him inside, for the majority of the time, and he can still line up and play outside. He did it in the scrimmage, and that's what we wanted to see. What do we have? What is this group? What is this defense? And as we start to move a little closer towards, solidifying where guys need to be, how do we build this defense around, our strengths? And right now, I think Coach Tarver is starting to bring it into focus, and that's what you have to do quickly, is bring it into focus.
Speaking of defensive focus, Sunday night after practice, those guys went through a pretty extensive little course. Explain that, I guess, a little bit. Their kind of post-practice training right there.
Yeah, man, they had to pay the debt. The reality is when you play football, and you scrimmage, man, we have a saying in the defensive room: all gas, no brake. Okay, and there wasn't a lot of gas and a whole bunch of braking. So they had to pay the piper, and with that, they had a low circuit. Okay, and definitely don't expect to see that low circuit be that intense again. And you just have to set a culture, and I think that's exactly what he's doing. He understands how football is played in this league. He's a year removed from the NFL, and having a chance to see what it is, man, you have to have an expectation of when you hit the football field of how your guys are going to play. Okay, and if the guys don't hit the expectation, well, then we got to pay the piper and pay the debt, as soon as we can. We paid the debt on Sunday, and now we move on.
Jamari Wakefield, what are your expectations for him this year?
Play. Jamari Wakefield is a better back than he was a year ago. Okay, you see it in protection, you see it as a runner. Again, I'm challenging him to be a three-dimensional back. Sometimes you want to chase the guy in front of you. What you got to do is build your repertoire. You got to build your game. You got to be a better, pass protector. You got to be a better inside runner. You got to be able to catch the ball out of the backfield. You got to be a three-dimensional back in the SEC. And, I'm seeing that from him. I think he's also got guys on his heels, too. I mean, I look up and, Keon right now is pushing it. And I think that's what they all want. Keyshawn, comes out here every day and he's going to give you everything he's got. So I think I'm starting to see a bunch of alpha males develop in that room, maybe besides Keyshawn Vaughn. And we need that because we need depth at running back. You need at least 2 or 3 in this conference to go through a season.
How much have you been able to take from Saturday's scrimmage and the things that you learned and implemented in practice this week as far as things you saw you needed to address?
I learned a lot. Not so much about this team, but just about, where we were. I mean, a first scrimmage is something that you take a look at and you're looking at, effort, focus, discipline. Okay, the outcome is really, irrelevant. Where are we? Like, what do we get done summer conditioning wise? How do guys play? Did guys get on the football field and all of a sudden get caught up in the fog of war where they couldn't react? Okay, and they started, in thinking, versus playing. That's what I was looking for, and we sort of ironed those things out. I think we came out here today. We had a good spirited practice with a lot of energy, and this practice is going to move us exactly where we need to go.
Are you seeing any separation at quarterback, or is that still a pretty even race?
Man, right now, they're just competing. In terms of separation, I get charts, and they put those charts on my desk. But the reality is, when you get out here and you get tested in situational football, that's where you got to respond. The one-on-ones don't mean a whole lot to me. 7-on-7 don't mean a whole lot to me because last time I checked, you play the game with 11 guys on the field. So, I'll check it out, as we get closer. But I just want to see improvement. I tell these guys every day, grab the 1%. There's 1% every day where these guys can grab it, get better, continue to focus on, what's there, and that's what these guys are doing. So let's not get caught up in who's winning the race. Let's make sure we get the work done, and then after that, I'll decide, who's going to go out there first.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate you.
Thanks.
Appreciate you.